The story of Lot, another of the many interesting characters in the Bible about whom very little was written. But even though there's not much detail on his life, there's more about him than most people are aware of. Of course, there's Lot himself, the nephew of Abraham. There's Lot's wife. And there's Lot's two daughters. Most people, even those who know the story of Lot, don't realize he had daughters, for reasons we'll get into. In a rarity for the Bible, Lot is not as well known as the woman in the story, his wife. Most of you who recognize Lot's name probably didn't really hear of Lot himself. You probably heard of Lot's wife turning into a pillar of salt. One of the most interesting things about Lot is that he never...
Excuse me.
Yes?
A pillar of salt?
Yes. It's very interesting that Lot in his entire life never once...
What are you talking about?
The story of Lot. Please, it will be clearer as I go on with the story. Please. Lot never once thought to ask, what now?
Go through the story. Who are you?
I'm a rabbi.
A what?
A rabbi, a Jewish spiritual teacher.
Jewish? What's that?
Jews are the descendants of Abraham.
Descendants of Abraham? You mean Lot's crazy uncle Abraham?
I didn't say crazy.
Abraham has descendants called?
Jews.
Jews? Through his son Ishmael?
No.
Well, Ishmael's the only kid he's got.
I'm sorry, but who are you?
I'm Meredith.
Meredith?
Yes, Meredith. You just introduced me. Lot's wife? The one you just said turns into a pillar of...
Salt. Yes, but her name wasn't Meredith.
It most certainly is. What did you think my name is?
I didn't think your name was anything. You said your name is Meredith, but you're not Lot's wife.
I most certainly am.
But that was thousands of years ago. It's just not possible.
Okay, descendant of Abraham, but not of his only son. Do you believe the story Abe likes to tell about a 700-year-old guy building a huge boat with his 3 sons and sticking 2 of every animal on it during the biggest rainstorm in history?
Well, it's part of our tradition.
But you can't believe I'm me.
Even if you were Lot's wife, we don't know you as Meredith.
Well, what do you know me as?
You don't actually have a name in the text.
I don't have a name? You just said that I'm better known than my husband, but people know his name and not mine. What kind of text is this?
Well, it's a very old text.
Who wrote this thing?
That's a complicated question.
Listen, sister.
Rabbi, nuns are sisters.
Nuns? What are you? Okay, let me see this text of yours.
I don't think that's a good idea.
Why not?
If you are really from some time during the story of Lot, you shouldn't read about what hasn't happened to you yet. You could change history.
It's not history for me.
Actually, it is. You just haven't gotten to all of it yet. If you hadn't experienced all of what this text says, we wouldn't be here now having this conversation.
Whatever. Fine. But I'm not leaving, so how are you going to teach this story of yours if I'm not allowed to know how it ends?
Well, I can cover the beginning at least.
Oh, go right ahead.
Where are you going?
I want to hear this story of yours.
But you insist you're part of the story. Shouldn't you be with them as part of the story?
Let's see if you get the beginning right.
Very well.
Oh, one hint for the beginning of your little story. I was born and I was named Meredith.
Okay. I apologize for the interruption. The first thing we know about Lot is his lineage from chapter 11 in Genesis. Terach, a descendant of Noah, had 3 sons, Abram, Nahor, and Haran. Haran died, but not until he had a son named Lot and 2 daughters. Abram took Sarai as his wife. Nahor took Lot's sister Micah as his wife. Milcah.
What just happened?
Haran had 3 children and then died. Lot had 2 daughters, Milcah and Iscah. After Haran died, Nahor married Milcah.
Lot never told me that. His sister became his aunt?
Yes.
Does that sound normal to you? Do you two mind? His sister becoming his aunt sounds normal to you.
Well, not today, of course, but according to the text. Times were different back then.
They weren't that different.
Apparently they were.
Oh, and you were there, so you know. What kind of family did I marry into?
One destined for a prosperous future.
Oh, I'll believe it when I see. Wait a minute. Does anything else happen with Milcah and Iscah?
No, not really.
Oh. So nothing happens with these 2 girls except little inbreeding, but they got their names recorded for all time and I didn't. Who wrote this book? Who's Gideon?
It is the holy text, the Bible that tells us of the origins of our people. Please, just let me continue.
Rabbi wouldn't have a Gideon's Bible.
Oh, don't you start.
But you wouldn't?
That's not you not starting. Anyone else? Thank you. So, Terach took Abram's wife Sarai, and his nephew Lot, and headed to Canaan.
His nephew? Isn't Lot Terach's grandson?
He's Abram's nephew.
But he's also Terach's grandson? And he's also Terach's step-grandnephew because Terach's other son married Lot's sister, his niece?
Do you have a piece of paper?
No.
Then don't try to figure it out. They headed to Canaan, but stopped in Haran, the place with a ch, not their dead relative with an H, and settled there instead.
Why?
It doesn't say.
Seems like an important life choice. It doesn't say? Okay.
Terach died there when he was 205 years old. After that, at age 75, Abram is instructed by the Lord to finish the journey to Canaan. So to Canaan he went with Sarai and Lot and everything they had.
I know, I was there.
Were you?
Doesn't it mention me? I mean, it mentions Sarai. She's Abram's wife, not me.
No, not until much later.
Okay, this text of yours is missing my entire life.
What we know comes from the Bible, and in that sense, we don't know anything about you.
Well, Lot knew me very well, in every sense. My life was a really important part of Lot's. Don't you want the story told as it really happened?
Yes, I just don't believe you'd know.
You'd rather believe that book.
My life is dedicated to the belief of that book. How can we trust that you know what really happened?
Because I was there. I'm Meredith.
But we don't know Lot's wife as Meredith.
Listen, Rabbi, I went through 16 hours of labor for each of Lot's daughters. I kept our home in order and our family safe. I am who I am. Why are you trying to take my identity from me?
You're accusing me of identity theft?
I'm sorry, I'm not feeling like myself. Do you have some crackers? I have low sodium.
All right. Go ahead. Let's hear your version of the story.
Thank you. So, in the beginning, I was born.
Is this really where the story should start?
Fine, what do I matter? In the beginning, Lot was born.
No, I meant we don't have to start at the very beginning.
Do you want to tell this story?
Yes, I was trying to.
Well, too bad. Sit down.
I can't wait till the end of this story.
Well, you'll have to, sister.
Rabbi,
Whatever. All right, we'll skip ahead a bit. First, we met. There's a well over there and a bunch of sheep. I'm here with the flock. A few other people are around with theirs too. Now, along comes Lot. He has his own flock. It's bigger than everyone else's, so of course we get to talking.
Hi there.
Hi there.
I'm Lot.
I'm Meredith. New in town?
Yeah, just passing through.
wait a minute. The whole meeting at a well thing isn't your story. It's Rebecca's later on.
Oh, please. Everyone used to hook up at the old watering hole.
So you're from around here?
Yes, I am.
I could use someone to show me around.
Oh, you here alone?
No, I'm coming through with my whole family.
Oh, wife and kids?
Not yet. Is that an offer?
Oh, not yet. Is that an acceptance?
Not yet, but it could be.
Wait, this is not how people talked then.
Had a lot of conversations back then, did you?
No.
Then you don't know.
Yes, I do. For one thing, it was all in Aramaic.
Oh, you want us to talk in Aramaic? Nobody's going to understand us.
Including us.
You stay out of this.
All right, keep flirting your way through the Bible.
Thank you. That's an awfully big flock you have.
Yeah, well, my uncle's a pretty sharp businessman, taught me a few things. I never lose any of my sheep.
Oh, that's impressive. Most shepherds who pass through get fleeced.
Don't embellish.
So, did you bring a ride?
Yeah, it's parked in the back, in the camel lot.
So, Lot and I get married and start our lives together. We go from place to place, going along with his uncle Abram and Aunt Sarai as they wander around. Our fortunes grow, our flocks grow. We live pretty typical daily lives, normal routines, normal issues. Anything interesting in the paper?
Not really.
Can I have a piece of it? Is something wrong?
It's Uncle Abram again.
Oh, what did he want now?
He didn't want anything.
And what did he do? That little cult of his that he's trying to start is getting a little extreme.
It's not that bad.
The neighbors are talking. Every time he does something new or says something about this one God business, that's all they can talk about.
They should mind their own business.
People decide for themselves what's their business. But they don't talk to me about it anymore.
Well, that's good then.
No, it's terrible. They think we're part of it now, too, that we're just hiding it.
That's ridiculous.
Try telling them that.
You want me to?
No. Don't do anything. It'll only make it worse.
Why is it every time I offer to do something about something, you tell me not to because I'll make it worse? You think I can't do anything right?
If you say something, it only brings more attention to it. And they won't believe you if you deny it. Oh, that's exactly what he'd say if he was trying to hide it.
So we're stuck with them believing something that's not true no matter what.
Yep.
Okay.
No, it's not okay.
If we can't do anything about it, why bother getting upset? Let them live as fools. If they're willing to believe such obvious lies, they deserve to be misguided.
But we suffer the consequences.
What do you want me to do?
I don't know.
Okay, then. He built an altar last week.
He what?
You asked what he did, that's what he did.
I'm sorry I asked. What on earth did he build it for?
It's a place where he can make offerings to his Lord, sacrifices.
An altar for sacrifices to his Lord. Sounds to me like he's already altered.
Be nice.
I'm not going to be able to go outside, Lot. After the neighbors read this, it'll be nothing but side glances and snickering.
Most of our neighbors can't read.
It gets around.
What do you want me to do?
Well, talk some sense into him. He's your uncle. He's embarrassing his family.
Sarai's not embarrassed.
Well, what about us? We're his family too. You're not embarrassed by the things he does, are you?
No, why should I be? A man can choose how to live his life, and he's been very generous to me, always. To us.
Great. You won't do a thing, and we know they don't listen to anything I ever say. So I'm stuck with this continuous humiliation. Thanks a lot, Lot.
I didn't do anything.
I know.
Were you two always like this?
Like what?
So domestically challenged?
We fought sometimes. Yes. What, you don't do that anymore?
We do. It's just not commonly known that it was done back then.
We're human too. We're just people. What, do you think someone comes along someday and invents domestic dispute? That it's some punishment inflicted on the world for some ancestral crime? That's ludicrous.
So, you didn't approve of the altar. Why?
Please, that was the tip of the iceberg to not approve of. But other things happened that mattered more.
The famine?
Yes.
I wasn't really going to go into that part.
Oh, well, there's a lot of parts you weren't going into. What's wrong? Afraid to show the feminine side?
Fine. Will you let me take this one?
Sure. Let's see what you got.
Thank you. So, Lot and Abram and their families stayed in Canaan for a while. They gradually headed toward the Negev, settling in places along the way as needed.
Oh, settling in pretty big places. Abram's flocks and people were getting pretty numerous. Lots too, as part of that.
Why were you going to the Negev?
We heard there was oil there and someday it might be valuable.
Oh, please.
Oh, that's exactly what I said. To me, it's just a desert, miles of sand. I can't imagine anyone ever getting into a fight over it.
And while they were in the Negev, famine struck.
Well, they called it a famine, but I called it a desert. What did they expect would happen there?
You like interrupting, don't you?
Only as much as you like talking.
So because of the famine, Abram and his wife went to Egypt to try and feed the family and survive the famine to the north. While famines like this were serious, at this point, they were all still of good health and traveling early enough to prevent starvation. But Abram knew that his wife Sarai was a beautiful woman, and he was afraid that the Egyptians would kill him so they could take her for themselves. So he told everyone to pass her off as his sister instead.
And me.
What?
They did that with me too. I was supposed to be passed off as Lot's sister.
Really?
Yeah. Why, is that not written down either?
Well, no.
Someone didn't think I was good looking enough to merit the same attention?
I didn't say that. Maybe they were just limited by space. You know how hard it can be to follow stories with too many characters.
Right. Well, one of the big leaders did take a real fancy to her. Me too. It just wasn't quite the same. I think they just preferred older women.
Of course. And once Abram revealed that she was really his wife, the Egyptians were embarrassed, apologetic, and gave them all kinds of cattle and sent them on their way back to ride out the famine with ease. No, thank you. I ordered the kosher meal.
I never did understand the point of the whole lying thing. They just went after us the same as if we were sisters.
But your men lived. Husbands of beautiful women were in the way of taking the women for themselves. Brothers weren't in the way. and nobody got killed this way.
Maybe nobody would have been killed anyway.
Seemed more likely, though. So they returned to Egypt and were rich.
We were just pretty well off.
And Lot decided to leave, take his family, and now go their own way.
Lot's wife, Meredith, decided that she'd had enough of Abram and his little cult and didn't want to raise a family in that kind of environment.
Lot's herdsmen and Abram's herdsmen had a conflict.
To help her persuade her husband that it was time to go, Meredith gets some of her herdsmen to pick a fight with Abram's herdsmen to show that we really needed to separate.
You really played around behind the scenes like that?
Call it what you want.
So Abram told Lot that he could go his separate way, and that Lot could take the people and cattle that he'd amassed through all his time with Abram.
Damn right he could.
As they looked at the land in front of them, Abram told Lot to pick whichever side of the land he wanted.
He what?
Abram told Lot to pick.
I heard you, but he told me. Lot? What do you mean we're going to the east?
Look, after the fight with the herdsmen and hours of talking, things got to a good place. He told me which side of the land to take, and I didn't want to start another conflict.
But I told you I wanted the coast.
We've got a very nice riverbank along the Jordan.
That's a river. It's not a coast. He didn't even ask you which you preferred.
I just didn't want to argue again.
Liar! How could you do this? All this time I could have been on the beach.
In the Negev, it sounded like you didn't like sand.
You stay out of this. You're causing enough trouble.
Perhaps if we just moved on for now, there's a lot more to cover.
Fine. My turn.
Go right ahead.
Don't worry, Lot dear. I believe you.
Thank you, Meredith. I knew you'd understand.
Did you now?
What?
So this is a lot of land. Where do you think we should live in it?
I was thinking over there, just past the ridge.
Near that big city?
Yes. Sodom.
Oh, that's Sodom? I hear it has quite a nightlife.
Meredith, they're a bunch of sinners.
But they're great sinners.
Maybe this isn't a good idea. We can find someplace else.
No, don't worry. We'll be fine outside the city. Whatever happens in Sodom stays in Sodom.
So at this point, you were separated completely from Abram and his family?
Yep, completely on our own. Finally. No relatives dropping in every day asking about every little thing you're doing every day of your life.
Did Lot hate that too?
Well, they were his relatives. He didn't mind as much.
Or he just did a good job of not showing it because they're his relatives?
Canaan, Canaan.
And you started having children?
Yes. After a few years, we had our 2 daughters, just a couple years apart from each other.
And had you heard that during those years, God promised Abram that his offspring would be as numerous as the dust of the earth?
Oh, good analogy, since he was in a desert. God, if I had a shekel for every time that promise was made, I don't see how. They were old already and didn't have any kids yet. Well, we heard about it later.
When your family and Abram's crossed paths again.
Well, looking back, I suppose it was inevitable. It had been 12 years. And I still don't know exactly how many kings attacked Sodom and Gomorrah, but they were pretty thorough. Huge fight near the Dead Sea. That's how it really got its name, you know.
No, it isn't.
And they took all of us captive too, and took everything we had, even though we were well outside the city limits.
Don't worry, I have a plan to get out of this.
Great. What is it?
As soon as there's an opportunity to escape, we take it.
Good thinking, sweetheart. Have I told you lately how glad I am I married you?
Actually, it's been a while.
Good.
What are you doing?
Waiting for an opportunity to escape. Don't look at me. It's his plan.
As Lot and his wife tried desperately to escape, one of their herdsmen did.
Oh, someone else had a better plan.
Not a much better plan.
It worked, didn't it?
The herdsman escaped all the way to Abram and told him what happened.
God help us.
And that was Abram's plan. So Abram took 318 men and then
318 men. Exactly. You have that kind of detail, but you don't have my name?
318 men and attacked the attackers. He pursued them all the way to Damascus and brought back Lot, his family, and all his people and possessions.
Oh, and we never stopped hearing about that one.
The king of Sodom offered Abram all his possessions as a reward for his favor, asking Abram just to return his people to Sodom.
He offered what? We never got a cut in on that.
Neither did he. Abram refused the offer.
Figures.
He said he didn't want a situation where the king could say that he made Abram rich.
Oh, sure. Now he cares what other people say and think about him.
And everything returned to how it was before. Lot's family went back to living outside Sodom, and Abram and his men went back to where they'd settled.
But we were in touch now.
Family is good to have around.
Yeah, it wasn't as bad as it was before. After all, our neighbors were here near us, so they hadn't heard much of the gossip about Abram and his belief. We had a clean slate, which once Abram started being in touch more, didn't stay clean for very long.
Yes, another covenant. Don't yell at me. I didn't do it. I was just telling you about it. You want to yell at someone for it? Go hike 2 days and yell at Uncle Abram.
Did the covenant say anything different this time?
Yes, actually, there was the usual covenant stuff. You're my people, I'm your Lord, blah, blah, blah.
So far, no news.
Remember that place we went during the famine, Egypt? This time, he said that his descendants, whenever he has some, will be enslaved there for 400 years.
Please tell me Abram walked away at that point.
No, the Lord said after the 400 years, he would save them.
So what? He's letting them be enslaved in the first place. What's the point?
I don't know, but he saves them.
How does he take this? Enslave, save, and he still doesn't have any kids to have descendants from anyway.
I know.
Did you ask him any of that?
Yes.
What did he say?
He said the Lord works in mysterious ways. He has faith that there must be a reason, whether he's to know it or not.
What a cop-out.
No, but that's what faith is.
What, a cop-out?
No. Faith is believing in something without having a concrete reason in front of you for doing so. It's a feeling that something is right, even if you can't objectively prove that it's right.
You sound just like him.
Thank you.
Amazing. I insult you and you take it as a compliment. You're just as bad as him.
As bad as your husband or Abram?
Both of them. What's the difference?
There's a huge difference. You seem to be holding Lot accountable for things his uncle says or believes, when Lot is just the one telling you about them. You're treating him like he's responsible.
He's responsible for not stopping him.
I don't think you're being fair to your husband.
Fair? What about this Lord of Abrams, of yours? What about telling Abram over and over how great his descendants will be while not letting them have a single child?
But that eventually changed. You said it yourself.
Well, yes, about 10 years later, Abram, the great husband, went off and had a kid with the help.
It wasn't that scandalous. Sarai told him to go and have a child with her handmaiden, and so he did.
She really didn't want him to, you know.
Yes, she did.
Oh, yeah? I forgot how close you two were.
Sarai became upset about it only when Hagar, the handmaiden, rubbed it in Sarai's face that she was able to get pregnant.
And Sarai sent her away.
But she got to come back.
Sarai had nothing to do with letting her come back.
But she was okay with it.
Oh, she told you that, did she?
Can we at least agree that Hagar came back and gave birth to Ishmael?
Yes. But was that supposed to make everything okay? One child. And what about Sarai? She still didn't have a kid. It was supposed to be her.
But she still had faith.
It seems like you people use faith as the excuse when you don't have any other reason.
Yes, except it's a reason itself and not an excuse.
Well, she needed that faith for a long time. Things stayed pretty much the same for the next 13 years.
And then what happened?
Just when I thought things were really getting normal, Lot walks in one day.
It wasn't anything huge, really. He just asked Abram to give a little bit of himself as a symbol of their covenant.
Give a little bit of himself? What do you mean? I mean, he's already given most of his time, his reputation.
A little bit of himself. Literally.
You mean like chopping off a finger or something?
Not quite.
Then what? You are not doing that.
Of course, I'm not doing it. Has he ever asked me to do any of this stuff? He didn't ask me, and I wouldn't do it if he did ask.
Good.
It wasn't the whole thing.
I don't care how much. Enough is enough.
Don't get snippy.
Enough already.
Who is she?
Ignore her. Pretend she's giving a sermon.
Anyway, it's just him and his son.
Oh, poor little Ishmael.
Little. He's 13 years old.
Does that make it better or worse?
Abram's 99. I doubt that makes it any better, but look, there's more. A lot more.
Oh, it sounds to me like there's a lot less.
They're changing their names.
To what?
Abram to Abraham and Sarai to Sarah.
What, their given names aren't good enough for them anymore? They think they're too, what, ethnic? It'll keep them from getting famous? Great example for their descendants.
It puts a letter of his Lord's name into theirs as a sign of their commitment to him.
Oh, this Lord of theirs sure has commitment issues. What is his name anyway?
I don't know.
How do you not know?
I've never met him.
And Abraham never mentions his name?
No, doesn't seem to bother him any.
Am I supposed to feel better that his name isn't recorded either?
What?
Before I give myself up to someone else for a lifetime of devotion, I'd want to know his name first.
You have plans I should know about?
I already know your name.
And don't you forget it. But I haven't gotten to the big part.
Oh, I thought we already cut away from that.
Apparently, his God promised them a son.
Promised who?
Sarah this time.
After what you just said Abraham had to do, I don't think Sarah's the one who'll have trouble this time.
Meredith, please.
Sarah's 90 years old. Isn't that a little late?
We'll find out in about a year.
Oh, so now he'll have 2 sons.
Not quite.
What do you mean? More than 2?
No, they sent Ishmael away. Him and his mother.
So circumcision wasn't enough. He had to cut off the kid's family too?
It's complicated.
It always is. Where will they go? Do they need a place to stay?
They're taken care of. Their God promised them that Ishmael would have 12 sons who'd be princes.
I hope he's not holding his breath until those kids start showing up. He should get it in writing.
They'll be fine. Don't worry. We can just move forward.
Speaking of moving forward, just how much of this already happened for you?
Well, all of it has happened so far, obviously. Why?
Just making sure we don't reveal anything to you that you haven't experienced yet.
Is there something you're not telling me?
There's many things I'm not telling you, but they have nothing to do with you.
But what about me?
You've insisted that you know more about you than I do. What could I say?
My future.
I'm not a fortune teller.
But you said before that I turn into a...
Okay, how about you go to the last part you remember? Let's get caught up to your present at least and see what happens.
Okay. Well, it's a while after the whole name change business. Our girls are growing up fast, but Abraham and Sarah still haven't had that promised son yet, which only proves my point. And Sarah came over for tea, like she sometimes still does.
Meredith, I have to warn you about something.
I know, I heard about your son on the way. That's terrific.
Thank you. It's not about that.
Uh-oh. Oh, what in the Lord's name did Abraham do this time?
Well, the Lord told Abraham the other day that he's planning to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah.
Oh, great. Why?
Have you been there lately? They're a bunch of prideful thieves and cutthroats, and they don't care what they do, with whom, or when.
We live in the suburbs. It's been fine for us. But if those cities were destroyed, we'd have to start wandering again.
You could always move back in with us.
Look, we're family and everything, but I never know what to expect from your husband. Hey, my unseen Lord is going to destroy this today. Hey, my unseen Lord wants us to snip this off our bodies today.
It's his way.
Oh, okay. So Abraham believes this Lord is going to destroy the two cities near his nephew's family. He didn't have anything to say about it?
Well, he did. He suggested to the Lord that if he could find 50 good men in the cities, that both cities would be spared. And the Lord agreed.
50, huh?
Right. Now, keep in mind that even making a suggestion like this to the Lord is pretty hard for him. That whole fear of God thing.
Yes.
So then he asks, what if there's only 45 good men?
And he agreed?
Yes. Then he kept bargaining down to 40, 30, 20, and then even 10. And the Lord still agreed.
Oh, I need to take him the next time I go shopping. Okay. So 10 good men in 2 cities. That should be easy enough. How many did he find?
I don't know yet. So I wanted to warn you, just in case.
You know I don't believe any of this.
I know, but that doesn't change the warning. Now, I've got to get back. Say hi to the girls for me.
Was that Sarah I just saw leaving?
Yep.
What were you two talking about?
Oh, nothing, dear. Just girl talk.
Okay, you and your girl talk.
You didn't tell him?
Why am I going to tell him about something like that? It's ridiculous. And I like our house. All our friends live around here. I don't want to give up all this because another one of his uncle's crazy stories.
You don't have faith in your husband?
I do. I have faith that he'd make us leave if he knew.
You don't think he would listen to you? You seem to get your point across and get your way pretty often.
I don't see the need to take the chance.
Then what happened?
Then I somehow appeared here and found out our history knows nothing about me. Why? What do you know about what happens next?
Let's just see what transpires.
Let's just see you tell me.
If our text is as incomplete as you've been saying, there's no point in telling you what the Bible says because it might not be real anyway.
Fine. Let's see what it says.
Gentlemen, welcome. Please relax in here. My wife will bring you drinks in a moment. We usually eat after the sun sets.
Look, who are these 2 men you brought home?
I was sitting at the city gate, and they said they were going to spend the night in the town square.
So?
They're strangers. They don't know what it's like there after dark.
Well, maybe they know exactly what it's like there after dark.
They seem perfectly respectable. How would they know?
You seem perfectly respectable. How do you know?
Meredith.
You haven't been coming home with more money, so I assume you're not a thief. Or are you holding out on me?
I'm just saying they're from far away.
Or do you know because you've got someone on the side? Adultery is big in those Twin Cities. What's her name?
Meredith.
Okay. What's his name? I'm open-minded. It's the 21st century BC.
Look, they're nice, normal guys. I just don't want to see anyone hurt.
Either way, I didn't make enough dinner. It would be nice if you'd send word ahead to me when you're going to be hospitable. Bad enough that both our daughters have their fiancés over tonight, too. Thomas's man even has an appetite, so he'll eat for both.
Thomas? You have a daughter named Thomas?
What did you think their names were?
They weren't recorded.
Oh, well, of course they weren't. Our first daughter is Thomas.
That's usually a boy's name.
No, it isn't.
Well, it is today.
Well, it isn't in my today. So yes, my daughter's name is Thomas. He brought home her fiance this afternoon, and then in walks Christine with hers.
Christine?
Is that a boy's name too?
Well, no, it's just
What?
not typically a Jewish name.
Why not?
It's named after Christ.
Oh. And this Christ person isn't Jewish?
Actually, he was.
Then what's the problem?
Please continue the story.
Lot, this house is filled with strange men.
It's only for the night. There'll be no trouble.
We're here for the men.
Oh, but what about their gentlemen callers? Will they be no trouble too?
Shh, quiet. Maybe it's not for the sodomites.
It's the sodomites! We're here for the men!
Maybe they'll think we went out tonight.
We know you didn't go out tonight.
Good thinking.
You locked the door, right?
I'm sorry, when did you invent locks and install them?
Great.
Oh, don't worry, the girls took care of the door when you got home.
Wait, why would the girls barricade the door when I got home?
So you can't invite any more surprise guests for dinner.
Where are the men who came to you tonight?
They went to town. You must have missed them.
No, they didn't. We would have seen them.
When I met them, they said they were going to stay in the town square tonight. It's the truth.
They can stay in the town square. Let them out and we'll take them there.
And more like take them for every shekel they've got.
We saw them come home with you. You don't want them here. Send them out here to us.
I beg you, my brothers, don't act so wickedly. The men you seek aren't here. If they were, they'd be my guest. And I just promised them that I won't have my guests mistreated. I mean, I would have told them that if they were here. Woo, well, that was close. I don't think they caught that.
We caught that. Send them out or we're coming in.
But my wife didn't make enough dinner for guests.
We're going to break down the door.
Listen, I have 2 daughters and who have not known any man.
Don't tell them that!
Let me bring them out to you and you can do whatever you want to them.
Excuse me?
Only do nothing to these men, for they have come under the shelter of my roof.
You'll do nothing to these women either, for they are under the shelter of my roof.
Hush, Meredith. They want to take advantage of strangers with money. They won't accept.
We accept.
Great.
No, you don't. You can't.
My brilliant husband.
We're going to break in there, take those men and your daughters, and deal even worse with you.
Oh, no, we're going to have to move again.
No. I'm going to go out there and fix them once and for all.
You don't need to do that on our count.
You don't want to go out there.
You won't have to. When is dinner?
What did you do?
You will find that they can no longer find the door.
What does that mean?
Soon they will scurry back to the city in the dark, but not because the sun has set.
It will truly be a case of the blind leading the blind.
If they can't find our door anymore, how will they find their way to the city?
Perhaps they won't.
They will, just in time.
Just in time for what?
Have you anyone else here? Sons, daughters, sons-in-law?
Do you have anyone in the city? You must get them out.
We have no one there. Our daughters are here along with their fiancés. That's all.
Good. We're about to destroy this place.
Destroy our house? After everything we just did for you?
Not this place, this place, Sodom.
The outcry against its people has become great before the Lord, and the Lord has sent us to destroy it.
Oh, Lord.
The Lord sent you? Which Lord?
The Lord.
Is this the Lord my uncle Abraham keeps talking about?
Yes.
Great, now Abraham has followers.
These followers just blinded a bunch of sodomites who were beating down our door, Meredith.
It's okay. She's having a common initial reaction.
But I thought if there were just 10 good people, you'd spare the cities.
What? Where did you hear that?
What? Nowhere. It was just a guess. I mean, it seems fair, don't you think?
I think 50 is fair.
Haggling doesn't run the family, I see.
What?
You are the only good people we found, so we can warn you to let you escape.
Remember, you must get out of this place. The Lord is about to destroy the city. Don't delay. You can't let anything interrupt your immediate departure.
We'll be in there when you have dinner ready.
We need to get out of here.
Now, wait a minute. We haven't had to wander around in a very long time. We have all this land here. Do we really need to up and leave now? I thought we wouldn't have to do anything because of this lord of your uncle's.
There's more land out there to be had. There's no more of us here if we stay and get destroyed with the cities.
Fine. Girls, Thomas, Christine, can you come here for a minute?
We won't be able to bring very much with us. Girls? Your mother has something to tell you.
We have to move.
Why?
Your father brought some men home.
That's how it starts.
No. He's coming with us. It's his crazy Uncle Abraham again and his almighty Lord.
What about...
Your fiancés can come with us, of course.
Go send your fiancés in here. Come back to help your mother serve dinner. Crazy uncle?
Do we really need to do this now?
No, we'll have time once all this is over. William, Jennifer, we have some news. We have to move away immediately.
Of course, we want you to come with us. You're practically family now. So you can come with us, still marry our daughters. All will be well. And it will be good to have some nice, normal, sensible men in the family for a change.
We just have to leave because 2 men arrived and warned us that the Lord will destroy Sodom and Gomorrah. We can be spared if we leave now. These 2 men are angels of my uncle's Lord, and we are being rewarded for that and for giving them haven tonight.
We know this is a lot to take in all of a sudden, but do you understand what we've told you?
That went well.
Your daughters won't be happy with you.
At least they know where we get it from.
What did you say to them?
The same thing we said to you. We told them the truth.
Oh, why would you do that? Now they're leaving.
I'm sorry, honey.
You never liked them.
We liked them like family.
That's exactly what I mean.
So they decided to stay behind and meet their own destruction?
They didn't really say so.
Sure they did. It was very clear. They said,
Eloquent of them as usual.
You don't think they're going to warn the cities, do you?
You don't think anyone would believe them, do you?
I just don't want to be the reason why Uncle Abraham's Lord's plan fails.
Well, if he's such a lord, his plan can't fail, can it?
Okay, you're probably right. I'm sorry, girls, but there's nothing we can do now about your men. You need to finish packing and get some rest. We have a big day tomorrow.
Did you two really bicker this much?
There were moments.
So your daughters were forced to leave their fiancés behind, but you get to save your family's lives. Why aren't you leaving immediately?
We'll leave tomorrow. It's dark out already, and it sounds like we'll need a good night's sleep, if any of this is going to happen anyway.
You're still not convinced?
If the cities aren't destroyed tomorrow, and this is all just a mad delusion of Abraham and his followers, we'll be back here in time for dinner tomorrow night. If the cities are destroyed, it'll be a long day and we'll need our sleep.
Fair enough. Go and get your sleep. We'll catch up with you again in the morning.
Lot, where are you? take your wife and 2 daughters and get out of here.
Do you have any idea what time it is? The sun hasn't come up yet.
Get out of here before you're swept away in the punishment of the city.
Yeah, let's offer you some breakfast first. You have a big day ahead of you, just like us.
No, leave immediately.
But we haven't finished packing yet.
It doesn't matter. You have to go now.
Right now.
Hey, let go.
It's for your own good.
Forced relocation isn't nice.
It is out of the Lord's mercy that we do this.
It's his uncle's Lord's mercy that we get dragged kicking and screaming?
You're only screaming.
Yeah.
Oh!
Now that we're outside, escape for your life. Do not look back or stop anywhere in the valley.
Escape to the hills or you'll be swept away.
Those hills? Way over there?
Yes.
We'll never make it that far.
You must.
I'm telling you, we won't make it. It's just me, my wife, and daughters. There's a desert out there. You looked favorably on me and brought us out this far. You've shown great kindness in saving my life. But if we try to escape to the hills, the disaster will overtake us, and we'll die.
What is it about people that they can't accept the help they're offered?
Well, look over there.
Yes, that city's near enough. It's small. We can get there pretty fast. Let's escape there instead.
All right, granted. We won't overthrow that little city over there. Go quickly, because we cannot start until you're well on your way.
Thank you.
Why did you negotiate?
Don't you see how far those hills are?
Well, no, actually.
They're far. This little city won't take an hour to get to. I don't know about you, but I'm starving.
Well, don't let me slow you down.
What a beautiful sunrise.
I don't think that's part of the sunrise.
Why not? It's bright and orange and coming from the sky.
But it's landing on Sodom and Gomorrah.
Don't look anymore. Remember, we were warned to not look back once it started.
Oh, what's the big deal? I mean, we've already seen it.
Honey, those guys warned us that the cities would be destroyed, and there are now flames coming from the sky to destroy the cities. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt, okay? Honey? Girls, don't look back. Is your mother with you?
No.
Okay, keep not looking back no matter what. Honey? Meredith.
What's wrong with her?
Don't turn around. I'm not sure what's wrong with her. She's not moving. It looks like she looked back. She tastes pretty salty.
Dad, what are you doing back there?
It's a warm morning and we're in the desert. You probably taste salty too.
No. It's not that. Come take a look. Walk backward without looking behind you.
So what do we do?
I don't know.
We can't just leave her here.
She's gotten a lot heavier.
Father, this is no time to talk about that.
I mean, she weighs more than a person would. It's like she's made out of stone. I guess we can come back later for her.
Oh, wait, let me try something. She's made of salt, right? Maybe she just sweat all the water out.
I'm sorry, sweetheart. We'll just have to come back for her later when we've got more people to move her.
We can come back for her when we go back home.
We're not going back home.
Why not?
Because home is a big ball of flame now. No, don't look.
Well, what about our stuff?
Big ball.
Oh, and our men.
Big balls. Of flame, geez.
We can't just leave her here.
We have to. For now, we've got to get up to the hills near Zoar.
Where's that?
Over there.
Oh, why the hills?
After what we just went through, do you really want to live too close to this town again? Let's go.
So that is the story of Lot. Now, as we can see, yes, I can't understand you. Your story's over. You turned into a pillar of salt. I'm terribly sorry. What? I still can't understand you. There. Now you can talk.
Thank you. How did you do that?
Did you see me do anything?
So you're serious? I turn into a pillar of salt and get left behind by my family.
I'm sorry.
And now that I know what happens, I can change it, right?
No, it's too late. It's already happened.
But it's not too late. I'm talking now.
That was just for clarity. Now, it all happened a long time ago.
Then how am I here?
Maybe the salt preserved you.
But I don't want to die like...
I'm sorry, but you can't change it. This is your story. This is the role you play in the course of human events. It wasn't predestined for you, but you chose it as it occurred, and your choices had consequences. Sometimes we get the chance to do things better a second time, and sometimes we don't.
So what happens to my family?
Well, like I said before, the text has very little information about most of your family's lives.
But you were trying to hide that book of yours from me before.
I couldn't let you see this.
There's something else. What is it?
We really don't need to get into it here.
Yes, we do.
Okay, let's go to the cave in the hills of Zoar, where your family settled in. But please, try to remain calm.
He's so lonely without Mother.
Just the three of us now.
You know, he's old now. He's alone. And we're alone too. Our men are gone.
What's going on?
He really needs a son to inherit everything since we're not allowed to.
Where is this going?
I tried to warn you.
Come on, Dad. Let's give you some wine and get you to bed.
No. Where are they going? What are they doing? Thomas, this is your mother. Go in there and stop them right now.
She can't hear you.
What kind of sick, twisted book is this you've got?
Times were different then.
Don't tell me about then. Then is my time, not yours. This is wrong. Doesn't he know what he's doing?
According to the text, he was asleep and never knew what happened. We all started from Adam and Eve. Do the math. This kind of thing had to happen some early on. It took a little while before it became universally unacceptable.
Started from who and who? This is unacceptable. Thomas, go get your father right now. Get your sister away from him. Good. Someone's come to their senses. Wouldn't have expected it to be her.
She went and did the same thing as her sister the next night.
What?
I'm sorry, but it's what happened.
You have to let me go back and fix this.
It's their role in life, just like what happened to you was yours in the end.
So few details about our lives. Why did this have to be included? It's so embarrassing.
Because they both had sons who became the fathers of the Moabites and the Ammonites, two very large kingdoms in the centuries ahead.
So does that make me a grandmother or an aunt?
I'd offer you that piece of paper again, but
I don't believe this is what it all meant.
it doesn't have to be. You all live lives filled with many things besides these couple of instances. You can make it about the one thing, or you can put it in perspective with everything else you've had for much longer in your lives.
But what about everyone who reads that text of yours? They don't know about everything else. What will they think of us?
It will occur to some that there was more to your lives than these isolated events. As for the rest, it's more important what you think for yourself than what others think. In the end, that's what you can control. Others either come to see it or deserve to be wrong.
Well, thanks for answering what happened. I did ask. Just one request.
Yes?
Next time someone insists like I did, do a better job of saying no.
Okay.
So do I stay like this now? Stuck here for all time with nothing moving except my eyes and mouth?
Not quite.